Whew, we have a pile of things to get to. I did an opening video. I did a video about the 3-year-olds. I haven't done the 2-year-old yet. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I have some updates. Updates on a number of things. Where do I want to start? So, first update is I have sent a text message to Trace Dietrich asking him to drive the horses on the 26th. I think it's only fair for a number of reasons. Plus, it gives me ample time to work on some of the horses that need working on here. We have a number of things I'm about to talk to you in a minute about. Another horse that needs to be on this list to talk about is... Okay. Anyway, so I sent a message to Trace Dietrich. I assume he can come and drive the horses. I know that Northfield's 2 hours further away for him, and I know that Indiana is now back racing, but he had alluded to, coming off the track to Jason, that if for some reason he was needed, the potential would be that he could be there to drive these horses. So I've taken him up on his offer, and I've texted him and asked him, can you be in Northfield on the 26th to drive those fillies? Now, that leads into my second issue. Had a number of clients text me and say, spend that money. Should we race her in the grassroots, the Buckeye, or should we race her back in the Sire Stakes? I know she went the fastest of the 3 fillies, but she finished 6th. And 2 of the fillies, depending if we're going to race her with the intention of hoping we don't get in with other horses, is this the best position for her? Great question. Very viable question. The answer is a little more murky. So, if you... relax, I don't have COVID. If you look at the way the race set up for Spend That Money, I believe Trace looked at the filly, saw a decent line, and thought, we're going to shoot for 4th or 5th and hope for the best. I think had he driven her to win and left out of there, stuffed everybody in behind, let Aaron remove to the front, and then in turn, here comes Burke's horse, I think we're 3rd, maybe 4th. I think Trace drove her to finish 5th, and she finished 6th. So, still doesn't change the parameters of our problem. If she draws 6 or 7 at Northfield, if she draws in with Kiki Mora and the Fancy Face filly, we're done. We're in bad trouble. So, is it better to race her in the Buckeye? Let's look at it this way. Let's wait and see what happens on the 20th in the Buckeye for the fillies. Now, the Buckeyes are numbered 1, 1, 2, 2, same as here. So you can't race in the first Sire Stakes and the first Buckeye. We can't race in the first Buckeye. So we're going to watch it anyway. Ale Sund is going to race in there. Susie K is going to race in there. We're going to watch the race and see what happens in the Buckeye and go from there. If it looks like Spend That Money is going to be a layover in the Buckeye, then I'll be, by all means, I'll be the first one to say, let's go to the Buckeye. We'll win with Spend That Money as much as we can. If we can throw in 2 or 3 wins at 18,000 a purse, 17,500, 18. There's 25, 26,000 clear, 25, 24,000 clear. Then we throw a final of them at 75 or 100. There's another 35, 40,000. She's well on her way to being the filly we want her to be. She doesn't have to race against Globe They're Trotting, Compass Rose DC, Virgil's filly, Fancy Face, or obviously Kiki Moore or DeLovely Hall. You know, realistically, Spend That Money's what, 6th, 7th best filly maybe? She's in that massive group of a bunch of fillies that fit that 6th or 7th best category. So do we hang out in there and hope for some racing luck and maybe get a win? Maybe put together some real money? Or do we drop down into the Buckeye? Let's nobody panic. Let's not answer that today. Let's watch the Buckeye on Saturday and decide after that. Seems fair to me. Secondly, first we covered Trace, then we covered the 3-year-olds. Next, we have a little bit of an issue. I noticed 3 colts that have been disgustingly poor the last 2 weeks. We've all paid attention to Sunshine and Shade, but if we watched, Brushcut was horrible last night. And watching the race of Frontier Cruise, he was disgustingly horrible also. Although of the 3 of them, he was the best. Something's going on with those 3 horses, and they may not be the only 3 horses. So I have sent a message to the vet clinic asking them to come and have a very close look at these 3 horses. They don't scope sick, allergies. There's nothing like that in their throat. They scope fine. We've taken blood on Sunshine and Shade twice. It's come back completely fine. And the horse is not fine. One, the way he races. Two, I saw him in the stall. Yesterday, he seemed bright. Today, he seemed bright and eating his food. Yesterday, the day after he raced, he was laying in the corner, didn't get up to eat, and just looked like a cat laying in the corner. He did not look very sharp, very spry, very healthy to me. So, we're going to have those 3 horses looked at. Brush Cut is not the Brush Cut of February and January. I went with him at Mohawk, thought he was at best short last week, and then looking at his Kawartha line, I'm seeing a trend. Goodness me. So, we have Brush Cut, Sunshine and Shade, and Frontier Cruise. All 3 of these horses are performing well below what we'd expect. So I'm going to have them to the clinic and get them looked at. Something is going on with these 3 colts. I can't really say what. It is beyond remedial horsemanship at this point. Their blood looks good. They're scoping good. It's not their heart. They didn't tie up. They're not bleeding. Something's up. So I want to get them looked at. For those of you out there that own any of those 3 horses, the good news is they don't present as anything seriously wrong. They're not lame. They're not coughing. They don't have sickness. Something is going on. We'll get to the bottom of it. I'm not sure what it is. Our veterinarian looked at them and said, I'm not sure. Maybe just give them a week off, which really isn't a good answer. So we're going to have them up to a different clinic and then looked at tomorrow and try and figure out what is going on with these 3 horses. Enduring Strength, although he is not sick, made a break last night. Obviously, a little update on him. Travis thought that he was backing him. He went to drive into the 4-hole. Scott Coulter filled it on him, 4 or 5-hole. I opened the hole up, obviously, for him. He's our horse. And he went to back him into the hole, and he made a break. We'll take him, White Tiger, Oso Pine, Cavill Hanover, a number of aged horses over to train a decent. Some will go, White Tiger's looking at 2.5, 2.6. Oso Pine's the same. Cavill Hanover, I might train him at 57 on Wednesday morning. And Enduring Strength, he may just go with him. So I'd like to see a mile in 57 or 58 of Enduring Strength with the stake races approaching. So that's what we're looking at doing with him. Stolen Dance breeding, I had made a decision that we can go to the bank with Stolen Dance. The bank being the sire. The sire's name is The Bank. He's originally from here, went to Sweden. He's back here now. He's breeding at Terra Hills, I believe. Or no, he's breeding at Winback. He will probably father the next foal out of Stolen Dance. The only downside of that is it's not a 2-for-1 deal now. So Dewey Ann's breeding of my MVP this year is going from 2,000 to 4,000, and the bank is going from to 4,500. So we're adding an additional $4,500 in sire's fees, in breeding fees this year on the top. But there has been a very viable case made to breed the bank to Stolen Dance. I can't argue with genetics. So we will send that filly or mare over to breed to the bank. I believe we have a couple of days yet. If you're out there formulating a well thought out email, why she should stay with my MVP, I'm all ears. But we'll see how that goes. Certainly not last, Excellent Nation. So I had a number of clients, maybe 2 or 3 clients say, why are we going to the back in the condition claimer when this horse can go to the Buckeye? I mentioned this in the opening, and I'm going to touch on it again. So this idea that they're racing for 3 times as much money is just awesome for Excellent Nation is not necessarily good. If you finish 3rd, you make less money than you would have in that condition claimer event that he's in. If you finish 4th, much less, obviously. You see where I'm going with this. So he would have to finish 1st or 2nd in the Buckeye. The Buckeye, like the grassroots here, is no cakewalk. They're not just going to, lay down, and you're not going to roll onto the track 3 to 5 like we did the other night. I suggested, and this is what we are going to do, we are going to watch the first Buckeye. We're going to watch Excellent Nation's group, the Buckeye group, the 3-year-old pacing colts and geldings, race, and then we'll make a decision if we're going to go to the second Buckeye or whether we're going to stay right where we're at. There's nothing wrong with racing that horse through the conditions. Does he have to stay in the bottom condition claimer? No. But it's nice to get him some confidence, and I think that's what it's doing. I would fully suspect he'll be the favorite to win when he races this week, and I would hope he would win. So Excellent Nation, for all the people out there saying we should have went to the Buckeye, I think you're missing all the information, all the pertinent information you need. How good are the horses in the Buckeye? What are they going to do? I would suggest over Northfield Park, they'll go in 54. Is Excellent Nation ready, sound, and capable and confident enough to win a race against other horses as peers in 154 over Northfield? No, I don't think he is right yet. So that is why we made the decision. I did send the message out after he was entered. I apologize for that. I did talk to Aaron. I did talk to Jason. So the three of us had made the decision that he was going back in the condition claimer and not quite to the Buckeye yet. You may not agree with that plan, but that is the plan we are taking and moving forward with. Hopefully it works out well. If the Buckeye goes in 56-3 and Excellent Nation wins in 55-4 that night or the night after, then yeah, we could have probably went to the Buckeye. But I'm trying to do what's best for Excellent Nation and in turn you, the owners of Excellent Nation, and I think this is a proper way to go. Last, certainly not least, is a piece of information that I've been sitting on for a while with COVID-19 going on, with our foals being born and this other foal I'm about to talk about not being born yet. It just didn't seem like the timely thing to talk about. We have a very good colt in our mix named Blue Monk. He got beat in the qualifier the other day, but Mario put him on the front. He's not quite as good on the front. I believe I'll go with him on Saturday and see how he is. But he has been one of our best colts, and I suspect he'll go a big mile next Saturday. I'd like to see a mile 57 or 58 out of him. And nevertheless, he has been one of our better horses training down. His sister Trafalgar just steamrolled everybody in 53 the other day in Georgian. We had the opportunity to buy 75% of the Broodmare. One of our clients, Bob, has the mare, the mother of Trafalgar and Blue Monk, and he is offering up an opportunity to buy into this mare. He wants to keep a quarter, release her to the stable.ca, where we will take over control of her, and Bob will stay in for 25%, which he's happy to do. She has just had a colt by Artspeak, which is Ontario bred now, and she is booked into being bred back to Mick Wicked. We would own 75% of the foal, 75% of the mare, and we would, obviously, I'm happy to breed the mare back to Mick Wicked. So it's an opportunity I think is pretty interesting. We'll be sending out some literature in regard to this opportunity in the next coming day or so. I believe the mare in question is, I don't want to get this wrong, she's 14 or 15, maybe 16, maybe 17. I think she's 14 years old, but I'm not sure. So she's still got 4 or 5 years of breeding in her, I would suspect. Doesn't have a lot of foals. She's had 4 foals. 1 was injured at birth. The other 3 we all had. Buckingham, which was a sports writer filly, did okay. We lost her in a claimer. Second one was Trafalgar. She's poised to have a big 3-year-old season. And the third one is Blue Monk, who I think is probably one of our nicest 2-year-old colts, maybe one of the nicest 2-year-old pacing colts I've ever had. It's not saying a lot, but still a pretty strong statement. So we have the opportunity to buy Real Heart, 75% of her, and I think it's probably something worth looking at. I believe Bob had optioned the shares off at $220 a share, which would include the mare and the foal. I think we'll be putting that forward to our group in the coming week. So that is a little update on a number of things. One, the spend that money issue. Are we going to race her in the grassroots or the Buckeye or the Gold, which would be the Sire Stakes? That will be determined after the Buckeye is contested on the 20th. Secondly, Excellent Nation. People asking, Excellent Nation, why is he not in the Buckeye? Because I think he's placed much better in the condition claimer he's in for now. That is the intent, to build his confidence and get him back into the Buckeye. That's our plan. Thirdly, Enduring Strength, making that break. We're going to take him over and train him hard on Wednesday. I'd like to see a mile 57 or 58 out of him. 3 colts we're having some real issues with right now. We want to get checked out health-wise. Sunshine and Shade, Frontier Cruise, and Brushcut. All 3 of these colts are grossly underperforming right now with no apparent reason why. So we are going to take them to the clinic and get them looked at and see if we can't find out what in the hell is going on with these 3 horses. Then we talked about Stolen Dance of breeding. It looks like we might be going to the bank with Stolen Dance. I did not talk about Spirit of Dio yet. She's on her way back. John Bootenchain had left her with Irv Miller to maybe have a fresh set of eyes, a fresh perspective on her. Irv's going to tinker with her. I suspect she'll be on a truck heading back to us on the weekend. Nothing would make me more happy than to see her into qualify. Everybody's busy right now. Irv, John, everybody. If you haven't figured her out yet, I don't know if you're going to. A fresh set of eyes, especially a set of eyes of like Irv Miller's, is going to help. But we'll see where that ends up. And then, certainly not least, but last, was Bob's mare, Real Heart, the mother of Blue Monk, Trafalgar, and Buckingham. The sale is, she's up for sale right now. Bob is offering a 75% ownership stake in that filly at $220 a share. That includes the colt by the colt by Artspeak, and she is booked back in to be bred to make Wicket very soon. So there's a little update, a little Sunday update for you guys. This came to me, most of this came to me after I did my original opening, so it is a timely update. Anyway, I'll be back to you guys in just a second. I want to talk about all the babies, all the 2-year-olds, where I see them going, what they're doing, how I like them, if they had any problems, what were they, and how we're going to fix them. And then we are going to talk about all the stables. I'll be back in just a minute.